One of the biggest things is I am a fairly creative person, and I'm somewhat of a, I don't know, maybe a dreamer. And um so like when in law school we were instructed not to wear colorful shirts to present before a judge or to meet with another counsel, somewhat contradictory to the core of who I am. I like to dress differently. I like to be different, and the legal field doesn't provide that type of opportunity. That was one of the biggest reasons. I also knew that some of the things that I was really good at in law school would not have made for a good family friendly, family oriented career. And I know, just because of the nature of who I am, I would have been probably overly reviewing things and spending more time than was needed on specific tasks for different cases, and it would have been to the detriment of my family. And I'm a family person first and foremost. I have 3 kids, a wife. I like to be there for them. And some of the work that I was doing, I knew if I would have gone down that path, it would have been all consuming.
And I think I agree with you on the creativity thing. I think that's why I'm here doing the podcast, right? I'm looking for new creative ways to kind of express that education that I'm gaining through the joint degrees. And podcasts seem like an interesting opportunity. And so I really appreciate the creativity aspect of it that you touched on.
Yeah, and that was in school, and shortly after, I just recognized that, whether it was a good or bad way, I was different than a lot of the colleagues that I went to law school with, where they had a burning desire to be a specific type of attorney, and I was more open to other things. And then when that door for other things was really pressed open, and I was exposed to innovation and new inventions, creativity, and the things that come with business as a whole, I just gravitated more that way. Much like you in this podcast definitely very creative, different thought processes and skill sets.
And I'd imagine as well, the more and more people I interview who have our degrees, I'm imagining we'll probably find some similarities with creativity and wanting to try new and different things. I'm much like yourself, have always had an interest in entrepreneurship, and it's just been something I've always wanted to try. And I think that this is a really fun way to try to get at that. Even if it doesn't become successful, it's a way to communicate with people who are doing it. And I think that's valuable, and other people may want to hear about your experiences. So I thank you for sharing them.
Yeah, and the one other thing I just mentioned on that, a handful of the people that I graduated with that had the JD MBA or a JD MPA or some other joint degree, I feel like most of them are either in some sort of JD preferred. I think that's the language that's used, like a JD preferred career, where you don't need a law degree, but man, does it help. And there are a lot of careers where that is the case. Venture capital is one of them, because there's so much of it is legal and so much of it is risk. I have friends that do more investment banking or real estate transaction, a lot of compliance work, again, where it's not necessary that you have to be a lawyer, but it's preferred because of the training that you've received. And if they are practicing the law, many of my colleagues that are JD joint degrees started their own firms. And again, that's entrepreneurial. They wanted to, hey, I like the aspect of trying to build my own business, grow my own business, and develop it. And it's rewarding to see what some of those people are doing.